The most dangerous Dubai property scams right now do not appear to be scams. They are sold by smiling agents with fully sold out banners behind them. But they are mathematically rigged against you from day one. I'm Tahir here from Prime Capital Dubai. I spend my days tearing apart these offers for my investors from UK, Europe, Asia, Africa, and the GCC. And in this video, I will show you the three biggest ones, how they work, what the red flags are, and what to do instead so you actually grow your capital here. Before we get into the three scams, I need you to understand what I mean by scam in 2026. I'm not talking about someone disappearing with your money. I'm talking about deals that are fully legal, heavily marketed, and still designed so the investor loses while everyone else gets paid. So let's break down the three biggest ones I'm seeing right now and exactly how to spot them. Scam number one, guaranteed ROI or the hotel apartment trap. What most people get wrong is they hear 8 to 12% guaranteed ROI and assume it means low risk and guaranteed passive income. They focus on the percentage alone. In most of these hotel apartment or guaranteed ROI deals, you're not buying a normal residential investment. You're buying into a structure where the order of who gets paid matters. Here's what's actually happening behind the scenes. The developer sells the unit at a premium price and the guarantee helps justify that price. The operator gets management fees and often has priority in the income structure. The investor is last in line and takes the operational risk, occupancy, pricing, seasonality, costs, and operator decisions. And this is where people get trapped. The guarantee is often short-term, typically 3 to 5 years, and sometimes it's effectively baked into the inflated purchase price. It's often based on gross numbers, not what you actually keep after service charges, furniture, maintenance, vacancies, and fees. The contracts can include outs that allow delays, adjustments, or offsets if the building underperforms or if the operator decides to reinvest. Resale is very hard because the buyer pool for hotel apartment is thinner, so your exit can be slow or discontinued. So the guarantee becomes the distraction while the real deal is you're taking the most risk with the least control. Now here's my advice. When you see guaranteed ROI in 2026, run a quick filter. Who guarantees it? Is it the developer, the operator, or a separate entity? And do they have the balance sheet to back it? Is it gross or net? Ask what you keep after all costs, not what looks good on brochure. What happens after the guarantee? Year 4, year 5, year 6. What's the real expected yield then? Compare it to a boring residential. Same budget, same area. What would a normal unit realistically net? If the gap isn't huge, take the simpler, more liquid option. Because what happens is in a hotel apartment, you're stuck with one operator. But if it's a pure residential unit, you can sell it, rent it. There are multiple ways to get out of it. Now, I've spent a lot of time reviewing these deals, and the reason I'm showing you this is simple. Most investors only learn these lessons after they've wired the money. So if you want a shortcut that's actually safe, I've put together a 2026 investor strategy kit. It's a practical guide you can use to filter deals fast, including the exact red flags we just covered, plus what actually makes sense in this market right now. Grab it using the link in the description. Now, the next trap is easier to spot because it uses the same psychology. Now, scam number 2, post-handover payment plans that look flexible but lock you in. What most people get wrong is they think a long post-handover payment plan automatically means the deal is safer and more affordable. Now, here's an example which I want to give you guys. A lot of times there are developers, while selling, they're telling you that this is a post-handover payment plan. But when they actually get the sale purchase agreement and they've already signed it, they realize that there's nowhere mentioned that's a post-handover payment plan, but they are time-linked payment plan. What this means? This means that if the developer delays the handover, you still need to keep paying this. Now, I'm not saying all developers do this. There are some genuine post-handover payment plans also in the market. And if they are genuine, I love it. But out of 10 post-handover payment plans I see today in the market, probably only 1 or 2 are genuinely valued correctly. Majority of them are overvalued. And this is where you need to be really careful. Now, let me explain you this in detail. A post-handover payment plan is basically developer financing. You're not avoiding risk. You're just replacing bank underwriting with a payment schedule that doesn't care what happens in the market or your personal life. What usually gets hidden? The price is often higher because you're paying for the flexibility. You're stacking service charges, maintenance, vacancies on top of these monthly payments. Rents do not rise perfectly in a straight line, especially in a higher rate, more competitive 2026 environment. If the rent comes in even 10-15% below the sales pitch, your tenant pays the installments story can collapse fast. So what looked flexible can become a trap that limits your options rights when you need them. Before you sign any post-handover plan in 2026, separate the asset from the financing. Ask what would this unit cost without this post-handover payment plan compared to similar ready stock or similar other projects. Stress test the cash flow. Model rent 10-20% below the agent's number. Include the service charges and realistic vacancy. If you can't cover payments comfortably, it's not safe. Read the default clauses like your life depends on it. What happens after 2 or 3 missed payments? How much can the developer keep? Choose simplicity over hype. A smaller unit in a proven area with a cleaner economics can beat a flashy unit with a sexy payment plan. And once you stop getting hypnotized by the payment plan, the next scam is the one that catches even the smart people. Coming to scam number 3, waterfront living, water location storytelling. What most people get wrong is they assume that just because a project is marketed as waterfront or 10 minutes from here, 20 minutes from here, it automatically has a strong demand and easy resale value. Now, in my opinion, every developer today is trying to do something which is waterfront. Why? Simply because waterfront sells faster, has great demand, but they've changed the definition of waterfront over here. A lot of developers are building lagoons or, in my opinion, oversized pools and making apartments or townhouses or villas facing that and calling it waterfront. In my opinion, this is not really a waterfront community. For me, a waterfront community is if it's by a sea or a creek, which is a natural water body and not a created water body. Now, Palm Jumeirah is something else. Palm Jumeirah is an island built in the sea. Obviously, that the water is natural. But what is happening, there are a lot of communities which are coming up where they are promoting it as waterfront. All the marketing is as if you're sitting in Maldives. But the reality is far from different. Dubai is hyper-local. 2 buildings in the same master community can perform totally different based on various things. In Business Bay, for example, there's a building which is the Dorchester Residences by Omniath, an absolutely stunning development which sells today at somewhere around 8 to 10,000 dirhams a square foot. There's a building right next to it which is selling for probably 1,500 to 2,000 dirhams a square foot. Now, you will say they are the same location, then why there is such a big difference? It's about the build quality. It's about how the building is built, who the developer is, and what amenities it has. So this is something which a lot of people do not realize when they are buying into a waterfront community, that just because it's a waterfront doesn't mean that, it's really going to make them money. These factors also matter. Now, the 2026 trap isn't that these new areas will never succeed. Some will. The trap is that marketing compresses time. It tells you the 2030 lifestyle at a 2026 price. Now, my advice is to avoid location storytelling traps. Verify the waterfront claim. Is it real water access, a canal or lagoon concept, or a future promise? What's the actual view from your floor or from which unit you're buying? Use maps and real-world checks. If you can't visit, use satellite view and recent drive-through videos. Don't rely on renders. Ask timeline questions. When are the amenities operational, not planned? What's the completion pipeline within the next 3 to 5 years nearby? Think exit first. In 5 to 7 years, who is the real end buyer or long-term tenant for this exact unit? If it's mostly other speculators, that's a warning sign. Now, it's one thing to understand what to avoid. It is another thing entirely to know exactly what to do instead. That is why I work directly with investors who are serious about getting this right. If you want someone on your side who sees hundreds of deals and is not emotionally attached to any one project, then use the link below to connect with me directly. You now know the 3 biggest Dubai property scams of 2026. But if you were starting from scratch this year, what would a smart Dubai plan actually look like? That's exactly what I break down in the next video. I'll walk you through the areas I'd focus on, the order I'd build the portfolio, and how I would structure it for safety and upside. Click that video now, and I'll see you there.